Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. What do we have coming through in these cards for today? May I please have the first cards in our spread? If this is the High Priestess in its reversal, I'm going to scream. Okay, it's not. What do we have here? We've got the Nine of Swords in its reversal. So we see here, okay, there is an easing point today. Apparently there hasn't been some point of struggle. We've been seeing that High Priestess in its reversal, not once, but twice over the last 2 days with our card of the day. There are some anxieties. There are some fears potentially that have been rising to the surface. This could be some indications on why we keep seeing that High Priestess in its reversal. There is something here where you're looking for a point of easement about something that has been weighing heavily on your mind. I'm more concerned about finding out how you're trying to find that point of easement right now, because we keep seeing all of this High Priestess in its reversal. But let's find out. Let's get our second card for our 5-card spread. Second card for our 5-card spread is today, the Seven of Wands. So this is a bit of our struggling point that we're seeing here. To let go or to fight. To let go or to fight. Is it better to have lost nor to ever want to play at all? This is that moment we're seeing. This is giving us more indications on where that High Priestess in its reversal is. There is some decision here that you are trying to come about right now. We see here, particularly for feminine, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. Particularly for feminine right now, there's been a bit of a struggle about what to release and what to fight for right now. There is something that has been causing some difficulty, and it's making it hard for you to follow your intuition and to follow your logic on this right now. Interestingly enough, we also see, though, that the feminine's also in a moment of trying to activate. So really, it's not about trying to do things and get things accomplished right now, feminine. This is more a question about what are you manifesting? What are you manifesting? And is it towards your higher intuition or logic? Or are you pushing against something that you feel might not necessarily be the logical choice or the logical approach? For masculine right now, we are also seeing that we've been seeing this a little bit more in the actual active space right now. This is happening more in the feminine headspace right now. While for masculine, this is having more to do with your actual tangible, effective reality right now, about what you need to release and what you want to fight for right now. What deserves your integrity and your fighting for, and what is just becoming too much of an exhaustion point for you at this moment. The next card we are pulling, center of the card in our 5-card spread. There she is. We've got, that's the Spirit. That's where we're coming from. There is this moment right now that needs to be observed for masculine and feminine energy. Between what you are fighting for, what you are letting go, and whether what you're fighting for is actually truly going to lead you to your ideal long-term future plan or path. We've seen this card coming up a lot in its reversal recently, and it's intriguing because it's not a question about what you're getting in your current present experience. There's something more afoot here about putting that effort and energy in critically thinking about what is going to be for you and to your best interest long term. For feminine right now, this could have a lot to do with what you're manifesting. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. This could have a lot to do with what you're trying to manifest right now. Is what you're manifesting working towards this goal right now? Or are you fighting on something or struggling to keep something or hold on to something that isn't even necessarily going to bring you to that long-term goal or that long-term positive outlook, but would make you feel a lot better in the moment? While for masculine right now, this is a moment that is feeling more tangible, where you are effectively trying to fight right now for something, wanting to come to this point of easement, but feeling some frustration and anxiety as it relates to whether it's going to lead to the ideal future that you are so clearly struggling for. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Our 4th card in our first 5 is, come on out, self-care is key. Self-care is key. Is this going to be bringing you something that not only is for your long-term path and goal, but is it something restorative right now? what we could be seeing right now, I think what we're identifying, particularly on the feminine path, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. Particularly for feminine right now, this could be talking about a moment where you are putting some serious consideration into the fact that there may be something that you are trying to manifest in your current experience and existence that you recognize would not necessarily bring you to that long-term path or goal that you are ideally hoping for, but would you make you feel a heck of a lot better. That there's something right now about the things that you're trying to determine and decide for yourself right now that have a lot to do with the difference between what feels good in the moment versus what might be your long-term best in your best interest. That is that point that we're seeing that gives us clarification on why that high priestess keeps showing up in her reversal in combination with the Queen of Wands. Because again, you may be trying to manifest something that might not necessarily be good for you in the long term, but would make you feel a lot better in the short term. And you're struggling between those 2 points. While for masculine right now, this is a moment that you yourself are feeling a bit more tangible struggle. We are seeing here that you are doing a lot of work right now to ease yourself from any kind of burdens or anything that is causing some extreme weight, feeling that easement today. Also, though, really fighting, pushing through. We've been seeing this a lot in the masculine energy right now, bearing in mind that is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to, about being able to have this be more of an effort of willpower, really mind over matter. That we've been seeing for masculine, that you yourself have been doing this. What's really intriguing about this spread, I need to point this out. Feminine is now reflecting the same struggle that masculine has been experiencing over the last week. If you were wondering if these energies have been reflecting themselves, the answer is definably yes. Because over the last week, we've seen the fact that the masculine energy has been battling more with their own sense of willpower, about moving in the direction of the things that are going to lead to their ultimate best plan and their ultimate long-term future goals and potential, but experiencing some tug, some pull to some situations, some circumstances, some habits, some modalities of thoughts, connections that may not have been in their best interest. But here we see that for masculine, again, there is that strike, that fight that's still occurring. There is also that battle, fighting to hold your own integrity in this against your own willpower as you put an observation in the things that aren't necessarily for your best long-term goal on your long-term path and reinforcing that attention and care back into the self. The final card for our first 5 is, I like this, I like seeing this card, our 9 of Cups. So again, for feminine and masculine, a bit of a different path, but there is a lot of alignment here right now. For feminine, this is that moment that you are going through a bit of a back and forth. You are having this moment of struggling between what might necessarily serve you in the moment, what might feel good in the moment, what you kind of feel that you might need right now to restore yourself in this moment versus what might not necessarily be ideal for the long term. This is feminine feeling a lot of struggle in terms of what they're trying to manifest for themselves, recognizing they have that ability to manifest, but also recognizing that they may not necessarily be trying to manifest something that in the long term might be successful for them, but that would feel extremely restorative in the immediate moment, would feel like it would be kind of a balm for their soul, if they will. But this is also something that they themselves recognize they are doing, and they're kind of fighting, going back and forth with themselves right now in their own manifestations. But ultimately for the feminine right now, there is a feeling we are seeing your feminine is even at this moment with this high priestess in its reversal, in wanting to be able to show that they have everything. There's something about being able to have everything in this moment for feminine that is coming through very important. There's a moment that we're seeing for the orientation of feminine that is not necessarily looking so much towards the long-term goals and saying, I just kind of want the things that I want that are going to feel good at this moment. I want to have all of it right now. And kind of, I'm going to say with that high priestess in its reversal, there's something about the feminine that's kind of saying like, well, kind of like, maybe I don't need to worry about the long term so much. Maybe I'm over concentrating on the long term. That's where we see feminine trying to come into this point of orientation now to try to moderate or mitigate what they're currently experiencing and feeling within themselves right now. While For masculine energy, this is a moment that we see that you have been going through a more of an internal, personal battle. Something that feels like a daily struggle right now against, versus you kind of having the willpower against those immediate things, those immediate joys, those immediate pleasures. Because there was an identification point for the masculine energy right now that those were not leading you to your long-term path, and more importantly, that they were causing you pain. For the masculine energy right now, there's more in an observation. I will point this out. There's a key difference right now as it relates to what's happening in the long-term future potential between what we're seeing for the masculine and the feminine energy. For the masculine energy right now, there is something that you are recognizing that you are struggling with right now, that you feel this desire, you feel this pull to go towards, be it something in your life that you know is not a good habit for you, or an individual or a situation, but you are recognizing that the harm in that is outweighing the pleasure. That is why we see you putting all of this work in right now, making this point of pushing against it right now, because you realize it's not leading you to your long-term happiness, and also because this pushing back is also a delivering of care to yourself right now in this moment that's helping you feel like there is this ability to continue to push back against this and move in the direction of what is absolutely best for you. While for feminine, there is a different experience happening that we're seeing here with that Queen of Wands energy and all of that High Priestess energy in its reversal. There's a moment right now where feminine is having to face the decisions between the immediate manifestations, the things they immediately want to manifest for themselves in the moment, versus what they want long term. And there's a point of orientation that feminine is recognizing right now in the disparity between something that they're trying to manifest now versus something that might be best for them in the long term. But feminine is simply saying that they're trying to concentrate on what is going to make them feel best, most supported, well right now. And that is what's going to create that sense of confidence for them. For some of the feminine energy, you might even be saying today to yourself that we're seeing with this High Priestess, I don't really care about the future plan. I just want what I want at this moment. To make myself feel more restored is what we're really seeing here. So very intriguing, because these two energies are in a way fighting the same fight, but very different battles. Now, let's continue to get clarification on these cards right now. Clarification between the struggle of the Nine of Wands in its reversal, Swords in its reversal, in combination with the Seven of Wands. Again, a bit different for feminine and masculine right now. What we're really seeing is for feminine, this is that point of personal struggle, personal internal battle right now between wanting a point of easement, but also pushing back against what you might potentially feel that point of easement is. And for masculine, it is the same. Feeling that point of easement, but feeling that point of easement as you continue forward in the struggle we've seen you facing over the last few days. May I please have one card to clarify? Popping out, and it's transverse. Of course it's transverse. Should we just stop it now? Should we just stop the reading now? Can I make... Guys... Of course, she's not in her top 5, and of course, she had to show up transverse. Are the cards stuttering? Oh my God. All right, okay, all right, I'm also okay. Did I stutter, guys? Please, tap to claim. So what we're seeing here for feminine, this is a moment. This is what this High Priestess girlfriend won't stay in the damn deck. She won't stay in the damn deck. And she doesn't know where she wants to be. This is that point that we're seeing. This is that point that we're seeing with the daily card of the day. It's right here. She's out and she doesn't know. This is what we're seeing with the High Priestess. This is a moment that feminine, again, Queen of Wands in its upright with a combination of two High Priestesses in its reversal. And now girlfriend is transverse, which is feminine coming into a point of recognition right now. That feminine is stuck on what she's trying to manifest at this moment, because what she manifests or what she wants to manifest is creating a point where in the present it would create an easement in the pain that she's experiencing, But she's fighting back against it because she also knows that she shouldn't be wanting to manifest it. And this is where we got girlfriend all up in a tizzy. This is where the girlfriend's all up in a tizzy. She doesn't know what she wants to do. She doesn't know where it's leaving feminine at a point of confusion, even at a moment of activation. Oh my goodness gracious. All the feminine need to be taken for a walk. We got to sit them down. We need to have an intervention. Feminine needs an intervention today, folks. Well, for masculine energy, this is that moment that we see masculine is in this moment. We've seen here that this work that the masculine energy is doing right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender so much as it is what you're aligned to. For masculine energy right now, we see that this is a moment that you yourself are going through some personal issues, some personal struggles. You're going through some personal battles right now. We've been going through them over the last few days. This has been a moment for the masculine energy that has been more of a personal experience in the fact that this is something that masculine we've seen over the last few days. There's something in the masculine life right now that is requiring them to exert a tremendous sense of willpower right now. A huge amount of willpower in recognizing that there's something in the masculine life that requires adjustment because it's blocking or interfering with their connection with feminine, but also that it's not good for their own selves. And this is a moment that masculine is continuing to have that battle right now with themselves, but feeling a bit more of a personal sense of victory as it relates to the success with that battle, because they are feeling like it is getting easier, but that connection with feminine is still in a strange space. It's still in this point of a standstill. And there may even be feeling like a point of confusion right now as they go through this personal battle with themselves in terms of connecting with the feminine energy, being unsure where the feminine energy stands, maybe even trying to push forward to try to get some insight right now and clarity, even as they're kind of going through this personal battle for themselves right now. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Seven of Swords in combination with the Ten of Cups in its reversal. So, for feminine energy right now, this is that moment of having that difficulty as it relates to what it is you're manifesting. Pushing back right now, pushing against something that you potentially are thinking about manifesting or trying to manifest, but also with the concentration about whether that is actually going to be the thing that you want to manifest going forward. Is it leading you to that space of positivity? Is it leading you to that bright possible outcome? Having that battle right now, fighting that fight against yourself, against something that you may want in the immediate space, but that might not ultimately be taking you where you want it to take you. While for masculine energy right now, this is that moment that you yourself are still you're fighting against something in the more tangible space. You are fighting against something that is more personally happening to you in this moment right now that you have been fighting over. We've seen the last few days, something that you feel an easement, a drawing to, but you recognize is not healthy or well for you. And you're making these adjustments for yourself with an attention of the fact that it does block your ability to lead and bring you to that long-term future goal or outcome that you desire. At this point, may I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now. The Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles. So this is a point of easement. And this is what was really intriguing right now. Because there's something right now that's allowing this to happen because of the environment around both masculine and feminine energy. The thing is, this is about the fact that things in the current, the current environment of the masculine and feminine, ironically, not ironically, probably for this exact reason, is moving in a very productive, positive way. Things are moving in a good direction. The energy around masculine and feminine energy right now, bearing in mind that's not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, is feeling very productive. In fact, it feels like, to a certain extent, that the environment is popping. Like this is the moment to bring these things into fruition for both masculine and feminine. For feminine right now, you're feeling a lot of this support in your immediate space. The difficulty for feminine right now is deciding what they're trying to manifest, utilizing all of the positive energy that you're feeling currently in the supportive energy that you've been manifesting around you in this moment. While for masculine, this is that moment that you yourself are having an ability to push back against these things, against these things that have caused issues in your life, pushing back against those bad habits, those bad connections, those unhealthy modalities of thought, anything that you feel that you return to at times of struggle, but that aren't necessarily best for you. You are feeling right now that support in the energy around you as you go through this personal battle. And that is helping you have this point of success to push back against those places and spaces that you feel may not necessarily lead to your long-term desired future goals or plans. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, between our 10, we've got double 10 cards here. What a point of completion today. Between our 10 of Cups in its reversal, in combination with our Ace of Cups, and it's going to feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine energy right now, this is the moment of your struggle. This is the decision that you're making that's creating that High Priestess in its reversal. Battling right now about something that may potentially make you feel good in the moment, may feel like it's spiritually, emotionally going to feel supportive to you, the choices that you want to make now that'll immediately make you feel better from an emotional and spiritual perspective in the immediate moment, though might not necessarily bring you to that long-term goal or outcome that you potentially desire right now. This being that struggling point for the feminine energy, while for masculine right now, this is a moment that you are moving away from anything that you are putting that tangible fight in right now. Fighting back against those things that you feel have these hooks in you that aren't necessarily positive for you right now, but that you also recognize with this concentration right now on trying to take this care of yourself, trying to put this care into your person. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with, oh no. Oh, okay. The Queen of Swords in its reversal. The Queen of Swords in its reversal. So, oh boy. This is going to feel a little bit different for feminine and masculine, because this is a problem. Feminine, this is a weakness point for you today. This is why we see that High Priestess in its reversal. This is this is a bit of an Achilles heel for feminine right now. Whatever this is that feminine is struggling with right now. Because you're asking yourself right now, why would feminine be struggling right now between the manifestation of something that would be supportive to them in the moment, would feel emotionally and spiritually supportive to them in the moment, but might not be giving them any clarity as to the long term, is because there's something about this with this manifestation that they're struggling against that feels like a bit of an Achilles heel for the feminine. This is feminine's weakness part. This is feminine's point of weakness. It's not an external one, much like the masculine's is. It is an emotional Achilles heel that the feminine is experiencing. And this is creating that moment, that blockage right now, because while we see the feminine is in this point of really being able to manifest right now, there is this point that makes it difficult to manifest from a logical perspective, because there's something that feminine desires right now that, though they recognize might not be the logical choice, might not be the best choice for them in the long term, intuitively or logically, emotionally it would be. And that is the Achilles heel. While for masculine energy right now, what we're really seeing is this is a moment that you yourself are moving right now, working to try to take care of yourself in the most productive way possible, trying to correct for some situations or circumstances, a point of observation that we've seen over the last few days with the masculine cards and the card readings around the fact that you are trying to you're trying to remove from your life right now any harmful habits, any harmful connections that you recognize that you return to, but that aren't necessarily healthy for you and leading you to your best long-term plan and outcome. And this is, thank you for the gift. This is that moment that you're putting this care in yourself right now. But also, again, feeling that there is something here as you even have this care of the self around a manifestation of feminine that you feel is accessible, is available. This is also supporting you right now as you continue to do this work right now for yourself, because even while you may not necessarily see some connection to the feminine, there is this feeling that it is accessible and available to you. And I will also point out, we have got a split right now in the masculine energy. You may fall in one, two of these places. Either this is a single feminine that the masculine has has in their space right now, that while they aren't necessarily in huge connection with right now, or they may be feeling some spiritual disconnection point, they're taking that time. They're not letting it there's some anxiety around it, because there's also something about feeling like this energy is vulnerable, right? And that is that feeling, like the anxiety, trying to work for this point of fixing this so that you can move faster towards this energy that you feel is kind of trying to leave themselves open and available and patient, but that you feel some anxiety around about the long term. While for the other half of the masculine collective right now, this could even interpret as more than one feminine energy. That there may be one feminine energy that you have some spiritual connection with, but you feel like there is this impasse, there is this like blockage here. While there's another energy right now that is much more open, much more available to you in this moment as you continue forward on your healing journey. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Ace of Cups in combination with our Nine of Cups. So a moment right now, and this is a bit of the restoration moment. This is kind of where everything boils down. Because for masculine energy right now, we see that there's something right now about this care of the self that makes you feel like you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. Putting this attention and care into the self right now, because we've seen for the masculine, though this is a struggle, you are feeling a lot of external support right now. You've got an energy around you that is supporting this. You've even got a feminine energy that, though you may not necessarily be in immediate contact with, you do feel is kind of leaving them some space right now for you to do this work. And this is what is building your own feelings of success and ability to continue forward in this way today, having that feeling of productivity. While for feminine right now, this is a moment that what we really see is feminine trying to find a way to manifest everything they want. Everything they want. Even if it doesn't necessarily lead to like the long-term outcome or plan that they hope for right now. There's something about feminine right now being in this space, and this is where that blockage is, because for feminine, there is a moment that feminine is looking at right now saying, I think there's a way that I can have my cake and eat it too. I think that there's a way that I can have everything that I want in my life right now. I need to figure out how to correct this like manifestation blockage is what we're really seeing here. Trying to come through this point and putting this care of the self, returning this care in themselves, even as they go through this point, so that they can try to find this place of manifesting everything that they desire. We do appreciate this because feminine is not like, is kind of reinforcing their own energy here as they try to do this. They're not necessarily, they're struggling with it internally, but they're not like, making any I don't see the feminine making any hasty decisions right now. May I please I should stop talking before I drop cards. We like this. We like this for feminine and masculine energy. We have here the Ace of Swords. There is, okay. And this is actually very beautiful energy that we're seeing here. Very, very beautiful energy. Because what are we seeing here? Look at this, double aces. Look at these double ace cards right now. Okay? This is that moment. For masculine, there is a moment where you feel that even as you're going through this personal struggle, there is this moment of feeling like you are having some kind of victory. You're coming back into your own. This is masculine coming out of a few days of like deep struggle, right? It's been feeling a lot of that temptation, feeling a lot of that pull, if you will, towards things that aren't in your best, that you recognize that you feel that you have this degree and capacity. I'm almost seeing here like the hard part feels to a certain extent like it's over right now, that you are currently fighting. We see this with the masculine energy. You're still pushing back against those things in your life that you recognize don't like only hurt you, if you will. But you're feeling content today as you put this care back into yourself. And that's making you feel this like higher, better sense of victory than you may have felt over the last few days. Feeling that point of success. While for feminine energy right now, what we're really seeing is this is a moment for feminine that this is where we see that high priestess in its reversal, because there's something here about analyzing what it is that you're trying to manifest. And again, putting that care and attempt of the self into play, putting that observation of feeling emotionally and spiritually supported here, returning that care back into the self, and coming out of this with conviction, coming out of this with some sense of conviction, feeling like there is some imminent victory here, that there's something around this that will lead you to that point of victory. If you just almost seeing your feminines thinking more about if they manifest something correctly, if they're able to manifest something correctly and they continue to take care of themselves in the process, then victory is afoot. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Clarification by our very spicy, that's what we're going to call her this week. We're going to call her this spicy high priestess. This spicy high priestess who can't figure out, who can't use a logic-based approach in terms of what you're trying to bring together. And our 10 of Pentacles. So, again, a bit different for feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine, this is feeling a bit of that logical blocker today. This is experiencing a bit of a logical blocker, feeling some frustrations in your own ability, in your own intuition, in your own logic mind, as you kind of put into consideration the energy that's all around you. And really kind of like, again, what we're really seeing here to a certain extent is feminine is having this moment right now where there's so many opportunities around them. It has to do with them really trying to think from a logic-based approach as to the best way to move forward, how to move logically, how to manifest what they're trying to manifest, making sure that feeling the space right now that's almost like a rife ground for the feminine in terms of productivity, but just trying to keep her head in the game to a certain extent, in the right way. While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you yourself are experiencing a great deal of support in your immediate environment, in your immediate zone of influence, but also with some attention and consideration to some feminine manifestation that you feel that you aren't in spiritual connection with right now. Feeling that there is some connection point to this energy right now, but feeling some confusion, if you will, as it relates to this energy and where you stand with it or how you're connected to it at this moment. May I please... Throat chakras blocked all over the place in the retrograde shadow. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with the Magician. Oh, okay, what do we see right here? Well, this is the point. This is just reinforcement on what I just said. Thank you so much for the gift. For feminine, the question of the day is, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Feminine is sitting here at the buffet, is sitting here at the restaurant that is life. And the waiter's sitting there going, what do you want, feminine? What do you want? And feminine's going, I don't know. Feminine's literally going, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Can I have 5 more minutes? Because feminine is having this moment around what it is that they're trying to manifest. So this is a moment, though, that again, this is also a moment that feminine is also kind of coming into their power here. Because I actually like seeing this Magician in its upright, because there's a point around this feminine energy, particularly with this Magician that I just said, with the 9 of Cups. Feminine is being asked, what do you want? And feminine's actually saying, I don't know. I'll just take it all. This is that realignment moment right now for the feminine. The feminine's actually looking at what they're trying to manifest and instead going, actually, can I just have everything? Can I just have one of everything? Because that's really the thing right now. It's really coming down here to feminine kind of getting in alignment. This whole process is helping feminine get into a better sense of actually putting their head back into the game, of actually saying okay, what it is, what am I really trying to do? That's going to be the answer right now for the feminine energy as they relate to this this blockage, if you will, in the logic-based approach. It's coming into the fact of saying what am I trying to manifest for myself right now? Because feminine's manifesting something. Feminine's doing it. she's like, I just need to figure out how and why, and put one thing in front of the other. Because feminine's actually using this as a point of orientation to get themselves back into focus. So we like that. This shows the fact that the feminine is doing the internal work right now to puzzle this out in their own head, to secure a better, stronger manifestation for themselves. While for masculine energy right now, what we're really seeing is this is a moment that you are experiencing a lot of productivity in your own space. Things are moving right now in very positive ways with the energy that's around you right now. You're feeling that support, even as you've been going through this struggle of not going back to situations and circumstances that have caused you pain. There is some consideration right now paid attention to towards some feminine energy that you feel, you have this spiritual connection with. You're feeling some sort of blockage around this with. But we're also seeing that you are using today to really manifest what you're trying to manifest for yourself in this moment, even around this. So what the masculine energy could even be doing right now is trying to do some work right now to really manifest this feminine energy back into their own experience in an upright, because everything is moving so swimmingly here with everything else. All right. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 10 of Pentacles and our Queen of Swords in its reversal. Gonna feel a bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy. Bearing in mind this isn't based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you yourself are feeling a lot of productivity as it relates to the energy around you right now. And again, we've got a split in the masculine collective here. This is either identifying or a consideration point right now towards a feminine energy that you feel is vulnerable right now, is in a space where you feel like they are open towards you. You're putting a lot of attention right now in this energy here. But there is something about this manifestation of feminine right now that does feel like there's a disconnection point, but that your consideration is very bent towards right now because you recognize that they are open and available in some fashion towards you right now. And you're feeling some of that renewed confidence as you go forward from this point. While for the other half of the masculine collective right now, there is a moment that you are feeling that is based on potentially more than one manifestation of feminine. Why do I say that? Because we see here that this is another side of the masculine collective right now that may have a moment of productivity, of success, of things moving in a very positive direction for you right now, but with an orientation on two different manifestations of feminine. One that you feel like you are in some kind of like standstill with, right? This kind of like emotional or spiritual standstill with this high priestess in its transverse. While another energy is just very much easier, more openly available and accessible to you, like on the day-to-day, if you will, because of this openness here with this Queen of Swords. So this could be feeling more like a struggle point or something that you are trying to navigate. May I please have one card to clarify? Ba-ba-ba. Clarification coming right now with our Ace of Wands. For feminine energy right now, what we're really seeing is this is a moment that for feminine right now, this is a moment that for you are feeling very vulnerable. As we've said, there is this moment right now that we're seeing for the feminine that you're feeling very vulnerable as it relates to what you're trying to manifest. That there's something here where it's like there's so many possibilities for the feminine right now. There are so many possibilities for the feminine right now that it's actually creating a point of vulnerability. But we do see here that there is like this moment right now that feminine is putting a lot of attention into manifesting what you're trying to manifest for yourself in this moment. This is really saying to us right now what the feminine is doing is feminine is actually like not letting themselves get blocked even at this moment of feeling vulnerable. Feminine is more kind of overwhelmed is what we're really seeing as it relates to like what direction to go into right now. But feminine is channeling. It's like feminine is not letting this opportunity pass them by. Feminine is doing everything they can right now to work as hard as they can to manifest these things into existence for themselves right now, to get these things accomplished, to cross these hurdles, to mark these things off their to-do list, to get that communication out. Because more than anything right now, even though feminine is feeling vulnerable, feminine is correcting for that vulnerability through very decisive, passionate action. Feminine is just going forward even at this moment because she's really trying to seize all of the opportunities that are around her in this moment. While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you yourself are also feeling like there are lots of opportunities around you in this moment. You are feeling that productive energy. You are feeling that that environment is moving in a very positive way around you in this moment with an orientation or a direction right now, specifically towards a feminine that is also very open and available to you in some way, though it's feeling, you may be feeling like, you have this moment right now, because we do see with the masculine right now, there is some anxiety about the connection with the feminine energy. And this is that moment that both in like, we're seeing for masculine right now, in both like the productive space around you right now, and also in the connection with the feminine, you are doing everything you can right now to communicate, to move forward, to get things done. You're trying to channel all of this energy as rapidly as you can at this moment so that you can seize on the opportunities that you feel are available to you right now. Because for the masculine, what we're really seeing is this is you kind of coming out of a fog, if you will, and being able to really kind of direct your energies back into the places and spaces that you would really like to channel it. Because we've seen here that the last few days have felt more like you've had to use a lot of your energy just to like struggle through or power through some of the things that you've been fighting against. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, between our Queen of Swords in its reversal, in combination with the Ace of Swords. So for feminine right now, this is a very intriguing feeling, because for feminine right now, you are feeling vulnerable. There's something about this situation that is making you feel somewhat vulnerable, even with the fact that you are accepting the fact that success is at hand. That there's something right now that you are like, success is at your fingertips. For feminine, there's some kind of objective or goal that's being reached today. Something feels like it's moving in a very victorious way, but it's actually becoming a point that almost like becomes a bit emotionally triggering for feminine as they go into this success, right? But still feeling that moment of success as you go forward from here. While for masculine right now, this is a moment that, again, you are experiencing some feminine energy that does seem a little shy, does seem a little hesitant, but also seems very open and vulnerable. And something about this is making you feel like even as you're trying to work or remedy this connection, you do feel like there is this greater success that you yourself are achieving today. May I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming right. Oh my gosh, I can't make this up. Two of Cups, Two of Cups, Two of Cups. What is happening here? It's going to be a little different for feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine here, this is that moment that, again, you are feeling very, very vulnerable. You're feeling very vulnerable in this moment, but you're also feeling some success is at hand. This is like a very bittersweet feeling for feminine right now. We see here why, because feminine's struggling between their manifestations. Feminine is feeling that struggle right now between the manifestations, between the things, all the things they're trying to bring into their life right now, and that's making them feel very vulnerable. At the same time, though, there is this feeling of success and victory, because we see here this Two of Cups energy, that there are partnerships that are coming into the feminine space that feel equal, transparent, reciprocating, a good, healthy give and take, a good, healthy partnerships. Doesn't necessarily need to be romantic, though it certainly can be. But whatever these victories are that feminine is experiencing right now, the reason feminine is considering them a point of success is because they are equal and reciprocal and giving back in kind. While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you yourself are experiencing some victory. We see here that you have crossed some hurdle, that you've been fighting back against some things in your own life right now that have required a lot of your willpower. But you are experiencing now that moment of victory around them, around what you've been facing in your own life right now. And you feel that feminine is still, again, though they may be a bit more hesitant, they're still there. They're still open. They're still accessible to you. And that is what is also giving you a feeling of sense of victory, because you experience the fact that this partnership is still on the table, if you will. The possibility and promise of this equal give and take is there. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Very, very potent cards today. Between our Magician in combination with the Ace of Wands. So getting a lot of stuff done today. A lot of work in manifesting, having that feeling, having that capability, having that confidence returning today, and utilizing that energy to get as much as you can done today, to be as productive as possible, to really manifest your passions into the physical space for both masculine and feminine right now. Lots of communication, lots of work, lots of passions being expressed. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification. Oh my goodness. What on? Oh, we cannot lose these cards this week, folks. They've been all over the table. We've got here our two of, wow, we've got our lovers here. This is really intriguing because we also see here this Two of Cups energy. So again, what are we seeing? We've been noticing that there has been a blockage. There's been a blockage over the last few days between the masculine energy being able to come towards the feminine in the way that they would desire because of these personal issues and situations that they've been trying to work through. For feminine, this has been doing a lot more work on the self, a lot more work internally in terms of what it is that you're trying to manifest. This is the day that we see that there's a lot of activity happening right now. There's a lot of work happening right now to kind of try to remediate bonds or break away from connections that don't feel like they are divine connections. Again, depending on where you fall on the alignment right now. This is either putting the time and energy right now into those partnerships, because we see, and it doesn't necessarily need to be romantic, but it certainly can be. There is this focus and this attention right now on partnership energy. And the dividing line right now, we see this being a personal battle for feminine right now, an internal battle about what you're trying to manifest. For masculine, this is like the correction of something that has been interrupted because of your own work on yourself at this moment. For feminine right now, this is that point of observation and looking what you're trying to channel, and either looking as to whether you can heal what you think has the ability to be a divine partnership that is out of alignment, or putting work in to just sever it completely, to just sever the alignment completely because the alignment isn't leading to that higher divine partnership. While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you yourself are doing that similar work, looking at what you are trying to manifest right now. And again, putting your care and your time and your attention into trying to restore the partnerships right now that you feel need some point of correction. They need some energy put back into them. Or for the other half of the masculine collective right now, this is severing partnerships that you don't feel are going to lead to that divine higher connection. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Ace of Wands. And this is it, man. This is what we're seeing. Everyone is trying to manifest right now, masculine and feminine, the partnerships in their life that are equal and giving and reciprocal. That's what we're seeing here with this energy, putting a lot of energy into play right now in the tangible and metaphysical space to bring this kind of equality and equal give and take in right now. It doesn't have to be romantic. It certainly can be. Now, clarification right now between our Ace of Wands in combination with the Two of Cups. So a moment right now of really focusing on, as we said, the partnerships that are showing the ability for an equal give and take equal reciprocity, that are present and tangibly there, that are offering you these opportunities and putting the work in now, the attention, putting a lot of activity in today to kind of solidify these as you go forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with, we like this, the Five of Cups in its reversal. This is that moment of optimism. This is that moment of correction. This is that moment where we see that a turn of attention is being paid right now. And that turn of attention is really focusing on the energy in your life right now that you're trying to manifest. Again, for some of you, this is the act of manifesting right now, equal partnerships. For the others, this is putting a lot of work in correcting partnerships so that they can reach this point or level of equality. And this is that moment of optimism that we've been seeing over the last few days. Of, again, for some, this is moving forward right now. This is giving you that ability. It's giving you that wave of positivity that's allowing you to move away from grief, move away from those things that you do not feel were in alignment. And the reason that you are being able to move away from the things that were not in alignment for you is this moment of observation about the importance and significance of an equal, I'm going to say it again, an equal partnership, an equal reciprocating give and take that you are either actively manifesting right now or is tangibly occurring around you. Putting in the work right now to create this equal space is what's giving you that moment and level of positivity for both masculine and feminine energy right now. It's creating that observation. For some of you, this is the focusing on this manifestation is what is helping you come out of grief. For others right now, this is presently experiencing or putting in the work to make this type of partnership for yourself in the present space that is also moving you out of grief. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Lovers in its reversal and the Five of Cups in its reversal. So really a moment right now. This is very much like make or break moment, if you will, between divine partnerships. What is being let go? What is being moved towards? And so again, this is going to fall a little bit different depending on where you fall in the collective. For some of the collective right now, this is that moment of looking at some partnerships that are in misalignment and feeling that there is some ability to get them into better alignment. Recognizing right now that there is something here with these connection points aren't where they are. You'd ideally want them to be right now. But feeling this wave of positivity that they can be brought to this point. While for others right now, this is a moment of accepting some partnerships in your own life that you may have been feeling drawn to, but you recognize are not able to reach that point of a divine partnership, of a divine equal union, and recognizing that, giving yourself that point of acceptance that they do not have the capacity or the ability to reach this is what is also giving you this moment of easement in your own grief and sorrow at this point. May I please have the final card for today's spread? Strength in its reversal. This is a moment of vulnerability. This is a moment of deep vulnerability. Feminine is going to be feeling this vulnerability more so than masculine today. We see that with the Queen of Swords here and the High Priestess. So, and it's coming through in different ways. For feminine right now, this is more of an emotional release process. That there is something that you are recognizing about having to go through this moment of observation on this right now is requiring a point that does feel very vulnerable. It does kind of rob you of strength even as you're accepting it. Coming into a point of feeling that bittersweet energy right now in recognizing that you are trying to leave yourself vulnerable, but you are recognizing the things and spaces that aren't potentially divine partnerships, moving with a sense of positivity while also feeling somewhat vulnerable to them. For masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you yourself are feeling some vulnerability. We see here with all of the cups energy at play with the masculine right now, that there's something about the ability. There's something that you are recognizing right now that is required as it relates to building divine partnerships that requires you to be vulnerable. It's requiring a place or space for you to have to be vulnerable. And that's going to be the dividing line right now as to how you move forward. Are you going to be vulnerable enough to be able to correct and move into some divine partnerships? Or are these places or spaces where you feel that you cannot be vulnerable, and therefore you are potentially moving away? For both masculine and feminine right now, there is that attention and care being paid to really ask about the partnerships and what you're trying to manifest and say, can I be vulnerable in those partnerships? Is that a space or place that it is safe for me to be vulnerable? And that is what is allowing right now this orientation against what you are moving towards that will feel like an equal give and take, versus those partnerships that you may have to let go of, because there is something here about whether or not you can be vulnerable with that energy that is going to basically effectively answer that question. Bottom of the deck on today's spread is Hangman in its reversal. This is difficult. This is a hard letting go process that we're seeing here. Letting go is being required right now for both masculine and feminine energy. We see here, for masculine, there's something about having to be vulnerable and open and having to push back against something in your own life that you are currently fighting against that feels like a battle. It's hard to release it because there was some kind of gift that you are receiving in whatever personal battle you're currently enduring that you feel like you are succeeding against. While for feminine energy right now, there is something that is feeling like a real emotional battle, something that you've been holding on to that was giving you a lot of insight, a lot of spiritual clarity to some extent. This is that moment that we are recognizing that push and pull between what it is that you're trying to manifest and what is effectively something that may have been causing any difficulty and pain for you, asking yourself if there's still some kind of gift that you can receive in it, or if that gift has been received, if there's no other lessons to be learned, if there's no more goodness to be found in those places, and if this is that moment of letting go. Thank you for the gift. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of a recording sent to you afterwards. And please remember, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Please remember that if you book a reading on my website, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have a reading with me. Most importantly, I want you to remember that I will never, ever reach out to you for a personal reading. I will never PM you. I will never DM you. I will never message you and tell you that your great grandniece has a very, very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So do it there. Thank you again for sharing this reading with me today, everyone, and we will do this again tomorrow.